We talk about the spark like it's proof of real love, but most sparks are just your nervous system recognizing danger and calling it destiny. And if you keep chasing the wrong spark, you'll keep repeating the same breakup with a different name, wondering why intensity keeps disappearing before intimacy ever begins. One of my clients once told me it was magnetic. I felt seen, alive, like the universe finally gave me my person. 6 weeks later, she was blocked, and she couldn't understand how something that felt so real could disappear without warning. He was counting on the spark to keep the connection alive. But chemistry without compatibility burns fast and fades faster. That's what I want to talk about today. What the spark really is, why we confuse intensity for intimacy, and how to tell whether your chemistry is coming from safety or survival. Because not all sparks are created equal. Some open the door to real love, and others pull you right back into the same heartbreak, just with a different face. Most people talk about the spark like it's one feeling, a single magical yes or no. But in reality, the spark lives on a spectrum. On one end, you have regulated sparks, calm, mutual, grounded attraction that grows through safety, curiosity, and shared pacing. On the other end, you have activated sparks, intense, addictive chemistry driven by anxiety, fantasy, or old attachment wounds trying to resolve themselves. In my work, I don't teach you to ignore the spark, I teach you to decode it. To ask, is this spark coming from safety or from survival? So here's what we're going to do next. In lesson 1, I'll show you the spectrum of the spark, how healthy and unhealthy chemistry actually feel in your body. In lesson 2, we'll walk through the levels of spark intensity, from subtle warmth to obsessive fixation, so you can map your own patterns. In lesson 3, we'll normalize the healthy spark and reframe desire, so you stop dismissing calm connection as boring and stop worshiping chaos as soulmate energy. By the end of this video, you'll be able to look at the last person you felt a spark with and say, not just, I felt something, but I understand what my nervous system was doing, and I get to choose differently now. Lesson 1, the spectrum of the spark. The spark isn't one universal thing. It exists on a spectrum, ranging from healthy curiosity to full-blown nervous system activation. Some sparks are healthy, they're grounded, mutual, regulated, they come from emotional attunement and shared values. And then there are sparks that feel like destiny but are actually dysregulation. The instant intensity, the obsessive high, the feeling of this must be it. Those sparks are often fueled by anxiety, fantasy, or trauma recognition. And in my practice, I see this constantly. Clients who jump from one short-term relationship to the next, each one beginning with that same addictive chemistry, the dizzying high, the obsessive connection, the fantasy level certainty that this person is the one. But here's the pattern. They only enter relationships when they feel that instant spark, and they're shocked when it burns out just as quickly. They chase the feeling of connection instead of the conditions that sustain it. They mistake adrenaline for alignment, and when the spark fades, they assume the relationship failed, when the truth is, it was never rooted in compatibility at all. When someone says, I just didn't feel the spark, what they usually mean is, I didn't feel anxious. Because when your nervous system is addicted to uncertainty, calm feels like disinterest, and chaos feels like chemistry. Understanding this spectrum, healthy spark versus anxious spark, is the single most important shift you can make if you want to stop chasing chaos and start choosing partners who are actually compatible with your nervous system, not just your fantasies. If you want a deeper dive into why you place such emphasis on the spark, please check out my masterclass, The Fantasy Love Decoder, link below. Lesson 2, the levels of spark intensity. So let's cover the types of sparks that fall into the healthy category. Level 1, subtle warmth, secure curiosity. It's like gentle ease and interest. You're intrigued but not consumed. Your body feels open, calm, and receptive rather than activated. This shows up in secure or regulated attraction. You feel drawn, but not desperate. Neurochemically, mild dopamine and oxytocin, low adrenaline. Emotionally, that translates to, I like their energy. I want to know more. This is the foundation of healthy love. Slow, steady, safe curiosity. Healthy sparks. Attraction rooted in safety. Healthy sparks create connection and clarity. They awaken curiosity and desire without anxiety or self abandonment. They make you feel more yourself, not less. Level 2, mutual charge, balanced chemistry. There's emotional pull and physical pull. You feel excitement and comfort coexisting. The conversation flows easily. Laughter, eye contact, rhythm. You both feel the spark, but it doesn't hijack clarity or boundaries. Neurochemically, dopamine rise, but cortisol remains stable. Emotionally, this feels alive but grounded. It's what most long-term relationships are built on. Chemistry that's sustainable. The secure spark, regulated excitement. You feel drawn, yet grounded. You can enjoy the excitement without losing your center. Balanced dopamine and oxytocin release. This feels good, and I still feel like myself. The resonant spark, mutual curiosity. It grows through emotional availability and shared pacing. People lean in. The energy is reciprocal. Low cortisol, steady dopamine flow. This connection feels natural. We're both investing. The expansive spark, growth-oriented attraction. You feel inspired, not destabilized. The relationship encourages reflection, creativity, emotional growth, balanced dopamine, serotonin mix. I feel excited to grow with this person, not to fix them. These sparks don't fade, they deepen. They're quiet, grounding, and build the soil for compatibility to take root. So if you've ever thought, my relationship is compatible, loving, and peaceful, and I am attracted to my partner, but I don't have that insane explosive chemistry I had with my last situationship, there's a good chance you're experiencing a healthy spark, one that's medium to low in intensity but high in reliability. Because healthy sparks don't hijack your nervous system, they don't make you feel obsessed or frantic, they let you breathe. And honestly, there's a reason this joke exists. Of course, you don't have the best sex of your life with your husband. The guy you're comparing him to is in jail. When you're in a loving connection, you're not having sex with your wounding. You're not reenacting abandonment, chasing approval, or mistaking adrenaline for affection. You're not bracing for the drop. You're opening to connection. Love shouldn't erase pleasure, it should deepen it. But healthy intimacy takes time because the nervous system can't feel both aroused and threatened at the same time. Passion isn't supposed to feel like survival, it's supposed to feel like expansion. 3. Magnetic intensity, heightened activation. It feels electrifying. You can't stop thinking about them. The pull is strong, often mixed with uncertainty or anxiety, a sense of urgency, of fate, or I've known you before. But what you're often feeling is attachment activation, your body recognizing something familiar, not necessarily something compatible. Neurochemically, dopamine spikes, cortisol rises, reward circuits light up. It translates to, I feel addicted to this connection. It's not false, it's just unstable. The chemistry is real, but it can't sustain connection without safety. 4. Obsessive fixation, trauma-linked chemistry. It's overpowering attraction tied to inconsistency, unavailability, or rejection. You'll euphoric highs and crushing lows. The spark is sustained by anxiety and longing rather than genuine connection. This often signals trauma bonding or repetition compulsion, the body's way of trying to resolve an old wound by re entering it. Chemically, it's an intense dopamine cortisol loop. Withdrawal feels painful. Emotionally, it's I can't let go even though it hurts. That's not love. It's the nervous system seeking relief from its own activation. Unhealthy sparks. Attraction rooted in survival. Unhealthy sparks feel intoxicating but unstable. They're driven by uncertainty, fantasy, and emotional deprivation, the nervous system chasing intensity instead of intimacy. Anxious spark, activation addiction. You feel hooked by unpredictability. Your body relaxes only when they text back. You equate anxiety with attraction. Cortisol and dopamine loop fuels obsession. I'm obsessed, but I'm not actually at peace. The avoidance spark, pursuer distancer loop. You're drawn to emotionally unavailable people. Once someone leans in, your desire fades. Longing becomes safer than love. Adrenaline spikes with distance. Calm feels dull. I want them, but only when they're far away. The trauma spark, reenactment attraction. Instant familiarity, it feels like home, but also like danger. You recognize their inconsistency as comfortably painful. It's your younger self trying to heal through repetition. High dopamine and high cortisol equals volatility. I know this isn't good for me, but I can't stop. Sparks mimic connection, but they're built on activation. They keep the nervous system in survival mode, chasing, fixing, proving. They offer highs that feel euphoric, but lows that feel unbearable. Lesson 3, normalize the healthy spark and reframe desire. Let's normalize healthy sparks. For compatibility to exist, there must be a spark. But it has to be a regulated one, not a chaotic one. Healthy spark feels exciting but safe. It invites curiosity, not panic. It builds slowly and deepens with time. So when you meet someone and it feels calm, grounded, and steady, don't dismiss it. That calm isn't a lack of passion. It's the nervous system saying, this is safe enough to connect. Peace isn't the absence of passion. It's the soil where real love can take root. Because the goal isn't to find someone who makes your heart race, it's to find someone who makes your heart rest. Let us grow up believing the spark is one feeling, a single, magical sign that someone is meant for us. Spark actually lives on a spectrum. Some sparks are calm, mutual, and grounded, born from safety, curiosity, and shared emotional pacing, slowly and deepen with time. Other sparks are intense, magnetic, and destabilizing, fueled by uncertainty, fantasy, or old attachment wounds trying to resolve themselves. They consume you, make you feel anxious, activated, or obsessed. They burn fast and disappear faster. These sparks grow through regulation. Unhealthy sparks grow through activation. And here's the truth most people never learn. Peace isn't the absence of passion. It's the soil where real love finally has room to take root. Intensity that feels addictive isn't special. Or conditioning, recognizing danger and calling it desire. So ask yourself, is the spark rooted in safety or in survival? Because one leads to connection and the other leads to confusion. When you find yourself saying, I've never felt this way before, pause and ask, I feel safe feeling this way? Because true love doesn't explode, it expands. It's less like lightning and more like sunrise, slow, steady, illuminating. If you found this helpful, watch next Fantasy Love Types. Click to continue and keep building secure, sustainable connection.